All right, so let's continue the analysis that we're doing um, in the last video. So we were able to set the working directory using both and we already know how to do it using the point and click function and the syntax. We also said that we wanted to open the libraries that we are needing. And for this particular task, we need all these libraries that we have called in. We are also successful in reading in the data sets that we have. We were able to create an object called Nels, and using the foreign library and the read.spss function, we were able to read on the original data set that we want to work on with. We also learned about the view function, which basically is a utility. It's a function in the R utility package, which helps us view the data frame here in the source panel. And we have learned how to make use of the assignment operator and the pipe operator to be able to create objects and tell R to do a series of tasks. So we ended in this part wherein we created the chap fork object, which contains only 5 variables and five columns. We were able to rename the variables using a label that makes sense to us, and we were able to conduct list-wise deletion using the na.omit function. And when we view chapter 4 object or view the chap 4, we are given these data frame shown at the source panel, which means that the instructions that we have given is functioning well. So we will continue by using the some other functions to kindly just inspect on what chap4 object is. So one of the commands that or functions that I use is the class function. So if I type in class, then open parenthesis chap4 close parenthesis, this particular command, if I click on this, you can see below that in the console that it says data.frame. So it only means that chapter 4 is a data frame. So you know that the specific class or type of object chapter 4 is that it is a data frame. Another command that I use to inspect my data frame is the sapply command. And particularly the class, also using the class argument. So if I type in sapply, if I type in sapply chap4, comma, class, which is basically the one which is already encoded earlier. If I run this one, it will show me the kind of data that each column in chap4 object is. So as you can see here, the grade is numeric data, parad is numeric, each working, each workout, and ACH8 are all numeric data. So there are also other datas that we're working in. We have a character, which is basically the string data in SPSS. We also have factor, uh, which later on in succeeding videos we might be using, especially when we work with categorical data. But in this data set that I have, all of the data that I have are numeric data. So after doing this basic exploration, we are now ready to do or to run some descriptive statistics just to give us an overview of how the data set looks like. If you can see here, I make use of the options function, specifically the width argument. Uh, this is just basically to tell R set the width to 100. So if later on we will because sometimes if it's not set in a in a specific way, the results will be viewed in a cramped manner. So it's just become a personal like a favorite that I have to just set the width to 100 or so depending on what I need. So if I click on the options width, it will not show anything here, but it will have an impact on your succeeding uh, uh, tasks. So what is more important in this descriptive statistics part is the use of the skimmer library, specifically the skim function. So what the skim function does, if I type in a question mark skim and run it and look at the help plot here, uh, this will show us that it will skim a data frame and get useful summary statistics. So this is what the skim function does. And the skim function comes from the skimmer package. That's why I indicated here skimmer, colon, skim. But I can actually do that without that additional commands. If with or without it, it would be fine since earlier I already called in the skimmer library. But just for documentation purposes, I want to include the skimmer double colon there just to remind me that the skim function here is from the skimmer library. So if I do that, if I highlight and run it, certain values will come out at the console. And you will see here that this is actually a data summary. So it will show the name of the data frame, which is chap4, the number of rows, which is 879, the number of columns, which is 5. It's the same values as we are seeing here. It will show you the column type frequency. So all of these are numeric values. So numeric is 5. So 5 columns which are numeric data. There are no group variables that we indicated. And here is the interesting part. So all the numeric data will show uh, basic descriptive statistics. So n missing here tells us that there are no missing data in all of the 5 variables. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So if there's a missing data there, it will show the number of missing data that you have. So this is not surprising because as you remember earlier, we made use of the na.omit function to delete all the observations with missing data. So this is something that we expect. Okay. Complete rate is 1, which means that it has everyone has completed, or that there is a complete data in all of these columns. But for the purpose of analysis, the data analysis, it also yields the mean, which is a measure of central tendency. uh, as we can see here, the mean score for grade is 5.70. For parent education is 3.22. For homework done in school is 2.09. For homework done out of school is 2.55. And the achievement score is 51.9. So that's the mean score. It also gives us the standard deviation, which is a measure of dispersion or variability. If we go back to our elementary statistics, uh, you can just read on how SD is derived. Uh, we can actually compute these values using syntax in R, but what the skim function does is it already computes all of these descriptive statistics for us. It's already a wrap up command that yields the values that we need. So it also has percentile scores that we might be needing. Say, for example, if you are interested to look at the percentile, so the median or the uh, 50th percentile is here. So which is also the median. If you go back to our elementary statistics, uh, then it shows us a crude histogram uh, of the variables that we're interested in. So if you see the grade, we are seeing here that most of the scores are on the higher end of the continuum. Parent scores are skewed towards the lower side. The same way with the homework, both in and out of school, and the achievement aid here appears to have a more how do you call it? If- Pro, like roughly, it looks to me that it is more normally distributed with like some sort of a bell curve shape, right? Later on, we will be using the another package or library to actually create the histogram uh, figures that is more detailed and more useful. Right? So the skimmer function and the skimmer library, specifically the skim function, gives us again the basic descriptive statistics that we need. Sometimes we might need additional descriptive statistics that are not in the skimmer function. So in succeeding videos, probably I'll show you how to work them out. Say, for example, there are cases that we need to compute the standard error of the mean. There are cases that we want to know the minimum and the maximum values in a particular variable. So there are ways in R to calculate those things, and we'll be doing that in succeeding videos. But for now, let's be content with the mean, the standard deviation, the percentiles, and the crude histogram. This is what we get from the skimmer function.